What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Twig and Magic Tabletop. Today, we're going to be talking about OSL. What is OSL? OSL is object source lighting. OSL means that your model is being lit by an outside source. This is my opinion about object source lighting. It truly is something that you want to make your models look like they're cool. Maybe they have a gun or something like that you want to make sure that they have some type of glow, like a plasma pistol or a plasma rifle. Maybe it's some type of magic that your model is casting for, like a D&D. You want to show that object is glowing or that they're holding a lantern. But all in all, it's mostly used for special effect. Do your models necessarily need object source lighting? No. Does it look badass? Yes. So I'm going to show you guys how to paint that today.
So the model that we have here is a tiefling or tefling. Not really sure how to pronounce this, but it is what it is. It has a dragon's glowing staff fire attack thing, some wizard spell that I'm going to show you with the OSL. Right now, per usual, I am going to be priming this model black. Once I have the model primed black, I'm going to go in and paint white over the dragon spell that's coming out of his staff. Reason why I want to do that is because I want that to be the brightest point. I'm going to go back in with a yellowish greenish color that is going to be the brightest point of the object. Like I said, the brightest point you want to be colored white. With that being said, I did 2 thin coats of the white, and now I'm going in with the yellow. The brightest point of the object is going to be the lightest color. So in this case, I wanted that brightest point to be a yellow. Right now on my palette, I'm testing out to see if it's giving the green that I want to. I ended up not using the same yellow that I base coated everything with. I used a warmer yellow just to get it to be not so pale. As you can see with what I did before, it was kind of looking pale, so I was just like, nah, I'm not with it. So a little bit warmer of a yellow gave me the color I was looking for. I'm base coating everything with that really white neon, really light neon yellow. Applying yellow is probably one of the hardest paints to actually put down, mostly because most yellow paints are translucent. So the best way to go about doing that is either airbrushing it, or in my case, because I don't have the space to use an airbrush, I'm going in and putting like 3 or 4 coats down to make sure that it was nicely even. I really didn't have to do that much because I was going to go in and apply the green over top. The darker color is on the top because I want the origin lighter. So now I'm going in and just fixing or cleaning up any of the mistakes that I made dry brushing the green on. Only because, like I said, I want the deepest recesses to be lightest. So the further away that I get from the light source, the darker I want the color. So in this case, I am hitting the highest points of the dragon with a darker green. once I have the final coat of the dragon on, I am actually going to start off by doing a really dark glaze of my green onto the coat. This is the original reason why I primed the entire model black, because the deepest recesses are going to be the complete opposite of what the dragon actually is. Because the center of the dragon is the lightest point, everything furthest away from it is going to be darker. So the folds and everything inside of the jacket are furthest away from the light source. Now I'm going in with a slightly lighter green. I kind of dry brushed over his knee, which wasn't a big deal because the dragon literally is sitting on top of his knee. So realistically speaking, I kind of left that area the same. Now I'm to the point where you can actually start to see the OSL making the back glow. I kind of edited and jumped a little further because realistically speaking, I'm just applying glazes. I'm probably on my 9th or 10th glaze where I am applying a lighter color, and if I really don't like that lighter color, or if it doesn't really blend properly, I go back with a deeper color. Now, I did use a little bit of a red brown when I mixed in my darker color, because the jacket originally is going to be red. And you'll see that later on in the video when I start building up the layers. And now we're at the small point of the video where I realized that I forgot to paint his tail. Yes, I told you this is going to be a recurring theme. After I painted that, I went back to his jacket and started building up lighter and lighter layers. And the way I was building up the lighter layers, which I'm sorry I forgot to mention before, is I am adding a little bit of yellow to every bit of green, because like I said before, the deepest is going to be in the folds of the jacket, and the lightest areas are going to be the highest parts, folds, I don't know what you want to call it, but the highest points of the jacket, so that because it's closer to the light source. So it's kind of reverse of what I was doing originally. Now I'm going to focus more on the front. Like I said before, his jacket was going to be red, so I took like a brown red, mixed it with a little bit of black, and started glazing in some of those areas that you see just needed a little bit more blending, just so that my transitions were going to be a lot smoother. I swear, if there's one technique that mini painters and watching other mini painters have taught me to get better, is learning how to glaze and having the patience to glaze. It is something that me as a person, I am very anxious and don't have a lot of patience for things like that, but it makes such a big difference in your work, rather than just slapping down some layers and calling it that. Even with just dry brushing does leave a little bit of texture. That's part of the reason why I dry brushed the dragon, because I wanted to see some texture in my paint. But glazing, but you could dry brush and then glaze over your dry brush, and you could get rid of some of that texture, and you'll have very smooth blends. But like, learning how to glaze is probably the most important skill outside of layering, outside of wet blending, because when it's all said and done, if you can't glaze, your work isn't going to be as smooth. So I'm still layering up the jacket, making it more red, making it more apparent. Now, the lighting in this sense really doesn't make that much of sense, because if
I were doing this in real life and maybe he's in a dark room, the OSL really isn't lighting up the front of the model. So this was an artistic choice. I really wanted you to be able to actually see the character's face and things like that. So I still made the front of the model pretty bright.
I'm really starting to understand why I don't see a lot of YouTubers painting WizKid or D&D models. A lot of the sculpts are really bad, especially if you start off just painting Warhammer. I was looking for a reference photo for this particular model. One, there wasn't that many, and two, the only one that I actually saw was a 3D model that, you know, WizKid had online, so you can kind of see what the model was supposed to look like. And what I found was there is a lot of lost detail. Like right in the front, right where I'm painting right now, there is a gold chain that links his jacket together. It looked like a blob. I'm telling you, I didn't even know it was there. So I did a little bit more digging to see if all of the models were like that, and come to find out, the few that I found online, which was like maybe 3, some of them had the detail, some of them didn't, which as a mini painter, that's kind of a pain in the ass, just because I want to show as much of my skill as possible, and to just lose detail like that on such a tiny model, yeah, I just was like, whatever, it is what it is. I only can do the best that I possibly can. And that's really not to crap all over D&D models, WizKid, any other type of miniatures that are out there. It's just that D&D has been around for quite a while. Like, I would expect them to do a little bit better at painting their miniatures. Warhammer, I'm spoiled. Let's just put it that way. I am so spoiled with the amount of fine detail that goes into Warhammer, and clearly I'm willing to pay the money. So yeah, WizKid, that's something to think about. People are willing to pay the money. Make better models. And that's all I have for you guys today. This is the end result of my OSL model. If you like it, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. If you have any questions, please let me know. I will try to answer them as soon as I can. And remember, put a little magic in everything you do. See ya.